What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Timeline Riff. Or not just Timeline Riff. What is it, number three? Episode number three. We are here in Florida, survived the hurricane. Not really a big deal where I'm at, to be honest. I woke up this morning and I went to work, and nobody bothered to tell me that we weren't going to work today. So that was cool. But in all actuality, I feel like it was unnecessary. I'm in the Tampa area, so I'm a little bit beneath where the hurricane made landfall. And I think it made landfall at like a category 4 or something like that. But over here, we didn't get much of anything. I'm right by the coast. There was a little bit of swelling, and they evacuated some of the people that are closer to the beach than I am. There's a main highway blocking blocking me from the beach. And so people on the other side of that highway got evacuated, not me. And then I had a podcast lined up today, but that ended up not panning out due to some technical issues on my guest's end. And I was all set up to do a show. And so I figured, screw it. I might as well do one anyway. Get a little bit of practice in. I'm on Alpha Brain and coffee, and so I'm all worked up. So screw it. We're gonna do it anyway. Let's start today off with some timeline riff. Present. I'm still figuring this out, guys. I'm sorry. Boom, boom, and boom. Share. Let's go. All right. What do we got first? Actually, I want to save that one for last. Boom, 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 boom. Ugh, ugh. Oh, there's some stuff I was supposed to delete out of this timeline riff, and I didn't do it. So let's go up here to this one was interesting from Jay. Hold up, here we go. Boom. And let's click on that one. All right, Jay, Mr. Motion 80 at Mr. Motion 80. I like this. This is a list of coincidences having to do with um Lincoln and JFK. And I've seen this before, but I thought it was pretty cool that it was in a big list right here. I've seen some of these things before. And so I figured I'd share them with you guys because they're a lot of fun. Did I verify any of these things? No, dude, I did not verify any of these things. Hey, what up, Death? How are you, brother? And what's going on? That looks like a swear word in Japanese. I'm not gonna say it this early into the stream, or I'm gonna get pulled down, dude. Thanks for being here, guys. So let's hop into what JX, right? What was that his name? I'm sorry. Let's get that one more time. Boom, boom, boom. Mr. Motion, J, Mr. Motion 80. Coincidence or not, Lincoln had 7 letters in his last name. Kennedy had 7 letters in his last name. That's mild. That's still mild. We're in the realm of mild shit. Lincoln was born the second child in his family. Kennedy was born the second child in his family. Okay. Still pretty mild. Lincoln married a woman in his 30s. Oh, I'm sorry, married in his 30s, a woman in her 20s. Kennedy married in his 30s, a woman in her 20s. Okay, still pretty mild. This is run of the mill shit, right? Lincoln was first elected to the House in 1846. Kennedy was first elected to the House in 1946. Okay, get a little bit more interesting. Lincoln failed to win the vice presidential nomination in 1856. Kennedy failed to win his vice presidential nomination in 1956. Okay, cool. Lincoln won the election in 1860. Kennedy won the election in 1960. Lincoln was elected to the term he was, oh, I'm sorry, was elected to the term he was assassinated on November 8th. Is it me or is that sentence a little funky? Kennedy was elected to the term he was assassinated on November 8th. Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize they were both assassinated on the same day. That's interesting. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. That is a little strange. Both of them on November 8th, huh? Okay. Lincoln was elected with less than 50% of the popular vote, and so was Kennedy. Lincoln defeated Stephen Douglas, who was born in 1813, and Kennedy defeated Richard Nixon, who was born in 1913. Okay. See, when the numbers happen, I'm a little bit more inclined to go. The numbers are weird. I'll give them that. The numbers are weird. Lincoln had a vice president named Johnson. Kennedy had a vice president named Johnson. Okay. All right. And we're only like a third of the way through this list. This is already getting interesting. Boom, boom, boom. Where were we? Johnson. We were all over John. Okay, here we go. Lincoln dealt with major civil rights issues, and so did Kennedy. Yeah, that's a little mild. That's mild for my taste. I want something a little bit spicier. Let's go. Okay. All right. I asked for it. So Lincoln suffered the death of a child while in the White House. So did Kennedy. Okay. Like I said, I didn't verify any. That's not what. Hey, if you're here, if you're on this, there's the camera. If you're on this show looking for verified facts, you come to the wrong show. Okay. This is timeline riffing. I'm shooting from the hip. I did not do any research on these things. So as far as I'm concerned, they both lost a child in the White House. Okay. And I'm going with it, and that's gospel now. Um, had a Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy. Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln. That's cool. I like that one. I that one feels pretty good. Uh, hold on. My name is Drift in Japanese. Dorifuto. Do- I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do Dorifuto. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Oh wait, let me bring that down. Oh shit. Bop. Okay. So where are we here? Uh, Kennedy had a secretary. Okay, here we go. Lincoln was warned about the dangers of going to the theater. Okay. And Kennedy was warned about the dangers of going to Dallas. All right. So, in other words, they were both cautioned against going to the place where they ended up getting assassinated. Lincoln talked about being assassinated on the day he was killed. Huh. And so did Kennedy. Both talked about being assassinated on the day that they were killed. I wonder in what context. Um, Lincoln I'm sorry, was shot on a Friday in the presence of his wife. Damn. And Kennedy was shot on a Friday in the presence of his wife. Okay. Lincoln died from the gunshot wound to the head, and as did Kennedy. Lincoln was shot at Ford's Theater, and Kennedy was shot in a Ford car. A Lincoln! Holy shit. Dude, this is good. I'm glad I didn't read this. I like not reading the things. I think it's more fun this way to not hey, what up, Bill? What's going on, brother? Um, yeah, I'm glad that I don't read these ahead of time because this is actually kind of news to me. All right, so what did I go? Shot on a Friday, presence of his wife, died from the gunshot. Here's Ford Theater. Okay, boom. Lincoln was killed by a Southerner with unpopular ideas. That's awfully amorphous and vague. As was Kennedy, killed by a Southerner with unpopular ideas. Interesting. Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and was captured in a warehouse. Oswald shot Kennedy from a warehouse and was captured in a theater. I kind of like that one too, dude. That's fun. Huh. John Wilkes Booth, this is on the Lincoln side. John Wilkes Booth name had 15 letters and Lee Harvey Oswald's name had 15 letters. Booth was born in the late 1830s and in his 20s when he killed Lincoln. Oswald was born in the late 1930s and was in his 20s when he killed Kennedy. And then I believe this is finally, let me scroll down a little bit to make sure this is finally. Okay, come on, you can do it. There we go. And the last one is Booth was shot and killed while being arrested. Oswald was shot and killed while in police custody. So, boom, does history repeat itself? You decide. I don't know that, man, that's a hard one, right? Because there's so many coincidences. What's going on, guys? Hello, Mink Paw, and hello, Phil Belk. Yeah, there is a lot of um yeah, I think to Renee's point, repeating scripts. That is much more accurate than coincidences, right? So I think what's happening here is you've got a formula. A lot of these things, right? Especially when it comes to assassinations, the deaths of big influential people on the public, or I'm sorry, on the world stage. When it comes to the death of these people, it's often in a ceremonial, ritualistic fashion. There's a lot of signaling and cues that the elites get that people, normal plebs like you and I, we don't understand, right? Um, and so to me, I err much less on the side of coincidence, and it's much more, in my opinion, an homage to one of the most impactful moments in the history of America, right? As far as the development of America, the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. I mean, it's Abraham Lincoln. When you're a kid, he's one of the he's rolled in there with the founding fathers, even though he was like the 14th or 15th president of the United States. He is mentioned in the same breath, and I guess it's because of the Emancipation Proclamation and the freeing of the slaves. Um, but it very much do these telemarketers are calling me nonstop. Don't call my phone, dude. Um, but yeah, so that moment, it shows how impactful it was because I think that without the assassination, sure, Abraham Lincoln was still an impactful figure, but to me, that whole thing solidified his place in history. And when it comes to what happened to Kennedy, that to me that's a sort of homage, right? There's this creeping mass of energy that's left behind by the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. And I think this is how I think that energy works. All right. And this is fucking get ready for pseudoscience. Okay. The way I see it working is you tap into this energy. This energy is country transforming energy. This is societal pivotal moments energy. This cloud of energy that's left behind from assassinating uh um Abraham Lincoln. And if you want to grab America by the reins and have another big societal pivot, right, where all of a sudden we start because the JFK assassination is maybe the granddaddy of all conspiracy theories. And the point of that is to say that that is like for people that are really, really digging, you go to all kinds of weird places when it comes to conspiracy theories. But for the normies out there, if you have the fucking yeah, and that's right, they're gonna see this and they're gonna be like, Illuminati confirmed. If you when you look at this pyramid of conspiracy theories, at the top of it lies JFK. And a lot of people hold that this whole thing, especially with the QAnon movement, right? There is a lot of this notion that like this all began with the assassination of JFK. And this has all been one long snowball effect to get to where we are today. And I think the only way that you pull that off with that man and change the direction fundamentally forever of the United States of America is you tap into that energy, that looming energy cloud left behind from the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. And so boom, there you go. It's solved. And you guys, you don't need to worry. And also, you're welcome. You're welcome for having solved that. So let's go up a little bit. Let's see what else we got. Do. 1 second. Oh, this is super weird. I hope you guys can hear this. I had some audio issues last time. I decided I'm not going to wear headphones because of this. So let's turn this up. Let's pop this on the screen as well. Boop, boop, boop. Bang. I'm sorry. All the weird noises, they help me navigate the computer better. Okay, and let's go. So we got Mitch McConnell, um, who looks very much like sort of the melted version of the Penguin from the was it Michael Keaton's Batman? So let's bigify this. And I would like to uh this is a short video, thankfully. It's 47 seconds, and this is Mitch McConnell having some sort of a breakdown. But this is the second time, I believe, that he's had some sort of a meltdown on television, and last time they kind of had to he's being interviewed and he just shut down. And for an uncomfortable amount of time, Mitch McConnell didn't make a noise. I don't even think he was breathing. If he was, it was shallow. But he's had this episode again. And guys, for the people in the chat, please verify that you can hear this.
What am I talking about? What?
Running for re-election in 2026.
That's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026?
Oh.
All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator. Penny.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Dude, that's brutal. I hadn't watched this. Oh. Boo, boo, boo. You know the sound that Windows makes
Please speak up.
when it shuts down?
What am I talking about? What?
Running for re-election in
Holy crap, dude. That was actually brutal. I don't do well with these sorts of things because Mitch McConnell, as much as a establishment slimeball that he is, uh, it's just hard for me to watch that sort of thing when somebody just fucking, because I've done public things. Yeah, reminds me of Lockjaw. Yeah, I agree, Mink. Um, I've done public things, right? I've been on stages, not a whole lot, but I've done my fair share of stuff, and there's a lot of fear with me in particular when it comes to like going on stage. Like I have I have this thing where I have to go towards what I'm afraid of. So I still end up doing it, but it's terrifying. So to see somebody having a moment, which is reminiscent of the very moment that I fear in any kind of public speaking scenario, it makes you wonder. It's like these gaps, right, with these politicians, and they're so old. And I guess we've had gaps before. I guess we've had politicians who have had really bizarre moments. You know what this reminds me of? Have you ever seen they'll be talking to somebody like Cardi B, and suddenly Cardi B just like she just shuts down and no longer functions, like somebody hit a hard reset on her. She's got one of those buttons you got to take a paper clip to and kind of jam it in there to reset her. And so you see a lot of this lately, or maybe I just want that to be true, but I do feel as though I've seen a lot of that lately where these celebrities are shutting down, these politicians are shutting down. Joe Biden has this gaffe every other day, and I can't help but wonder, like, is this part of some sort of, what would you call it, demoralization campaign? You know what I mean? Cardi boy, dude, don't say Cardi boy, is that true? I don't want that to be true. I have weird like, I always thought Cardi B was pretty for some reason. I think when I was younger, my mom had, friends I used to live in Elizabeth in New Jersey, and my mom would have friends, Puerto Rican friends, and they'd come over, and my mom's name was Lena, and I have this, like, memory in my head of, like, them laughing together and the Puerto Rican friends being like, "Oh my god, Lena, you're so stupid," and, like, that reminds me of Cardi B. I have a warm place in my heart for her. She reminds me of, like, some distant aunt, that was never really my aunt. Um, but yeah, Cardi B, she has these shutdown moments, and I don't know what there's a couple of other people that are infamous for it, but I think when it comes to, politicians, these shutdown moments are I don't know what's going on. Like, is this a genuine thing where he is just I think, what's her name did it too, Pelosi. I think Pelosi had like a shutdown moment or 2 or something like that. She might have been drunk, but, I don't know what his history is with alcohol abuse. It's just weird. I can't help but see these things through the lens of like, it's never simple to me. This is the curse of how my brain works, right? It's never simple to me. It's never just like, dude's old and, maybe it's nap time. Maybe he's tired and, maybe it's time for whatever the case may be. I see it as like, no, dude, this is meant to just take the wind out of your sails, to a demoralization campaign to leave the country just feeling like we are so lost and beyond repair. And so I don't know. That's the lens through which I see Mitch McConnell. So let's back out of here. So sorry for you, Mitch. Like I said before, I kind of feel I've got a certain empathy that doesn't allow me to just outright, oh, this bitch, this fucking bitch, this AI bitch. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hard segue like that. I just saw her face and I was triggered. But yeah, I have a place where it's just hard for me to not feel bad for these people when they do this. But also get out of politics, homie. Get these people the fuck out of politics. We shouldn't have these congressmen, these senators, governors, and all these various people that are 2 million years old. It's unacceptable. And Mitch McConnell he needs to be in a home with his family. Somebody needs to strap a Depends diaper on him and spoon feed him chicken noodle soup and hum a nice song until he falls asleep. He doesn't need to be involved anymore with politics. He's a fucking a mess. All right, so boom, that's right. Death saw it. That motherfucker is not real, and neither is this motherfucker. So let's get into it. This lady, she's resurfaced. What I think is very strange is that she she was really hard to find. And for internet sleuths to not be able to find you, that raises a lot of alarms to me because I've seen people like, there's like a CCTV footage of some dude doing something like homophobic, and you could see part of his arm, and you could see like a tattoo on his arm, and the internet will hunt it down. Does anybody remember when Shia LaBeouf and what's that little fucking crybaby boy's name? His daddy's gay. Um, Jaden Smith. So Shia LaBeouf and Jaden Smith, they're out in the middle of some place, and they're going, uh, "He will not divide us. He will not divide us." Does anybody remember this? And they're yelling into the camera, "He will not divide us." They're talking about Donald Trump, and what people did, they were doing it from an undisclosed location, and it was a live stream, and they're like, "They're never gonna shut down this live stream." And so what ends up happening is people take they can see a traffic light in the background, and they can see the constellations above the live stream at night. And so internet sleuths did some sort of, you know, uh cross-referencing the stars and the street name to what parts of the country should be dark at this time and should be seeing that constellation at this time. And damn it, they found the camera. These people found the camera. They walked over, they said something kind of cheeky, and then they took the camera down. It was the greatest moment ever. So the fact that we could not find the that motherfucker's not real, yeah, stars to shut it down. Death says it. Boom. It was unbelievable. I have to tell you, I was 4chan. That's right. Yeah. And Death just said it was on 4chan. And the internet sleuths on 4chan, they found it. And so when you can't find this lady, I don't it was really suspicious to me. It was really, really suspicious to me. And I don't know if anybody remembers, but shortly after the original video came out where she's doing the "that motherfucker's not real" thing, another video came out of like a black mom with her little kid, and her little kid is like kicking the seat of the airplane attendee in front of him, and he turns around, he's like, "Can you ask your kid to stop?" And it was really weird. It was like this moment that felt really tense racially, and then people started to realize like that plane's not real. They're not on a real plane. There's like a beam in the plane. It's taking up one of the seats. Like none of the plane looked real, and everybody definitely looked like actors, and it all felt very staged. And so I don't know if there's some concerted effort to make a bunch of fake plane videos. I don't know why they would do that. I'm not saying that. But and this is interesting because Renee says that somebody tracked her back to the government. What do we have here? Is this a crisis actor? What purpose does this lady serve? The internet went nuts. She went viral. And even though we couldn't find her, she suddenly started to resurface recently after like I don't know, like a solid 3 weeks to a month of marinating in this meme, which is hilarious, by the way, and I partook, and I saw somebody make a great painting of her pointing to the back of the plane saying, "That motherfucker's not real," and you had everybody. You had a lizard man, a leprechaun, Santa Claus, all these various entities. It was great. I thought it was great. I'd love to get my hands on that painting. Shout out to whoever made that. But it, like, gripped the nation. There was accounts that were, like, from that moment on, dedicated to talking about her and only her and making jokes about her, and it was great. I was there for it. I had a lot of fun, but I kept thinking all the while, "Where is this bitch? Is she Carmen Sandiego? How come no one can find this bitch?" In the age of the internet in 2023 where they can find anything they want on you, we can't find this bitch that went viral. And then all of a sudden she pops up very recently, and here she is again. And what's going on with her? Let's see what's going on with her today. And I've got a couple of things already I'd like to say. I don't know, maybe this came from the same day. Why is she wearing the same is it the same exact outfit? Well, screw it. Let's find out. All right, guys.
A little bit of anxiety, but it's been good.
A lot of people are curious
Yeah.
what exactly you saw, because you know you alluded to what you saw, but like we just want to know, like, you know, what did you see?
I mean, thanks for asking that. But I have been told I cannot comment on it right now.
I see.
What? What are we talking about? Who told you you can't talk about this? This is the most suspicious in all of the things that's going on right now. Mitch McConnell crapping his pants and shutting down on live television, and whatever your pick, COVID looming on the horizon and coming back, and whether or not Alex Jones is some sort of this is this one of the strangest and most compelling things to me. Like this is everything in me says this is fake. This is not genuine. She's not genuine. This entire event is manufactured. And I think that maybe there is some yeah, they put her in the same Death says they put her in the same clothes like a cartoon character. I agree with that. What the fuck? Why is she wearing the same outfit? Unless this is the same day. It might be the same day. I'm not sure. But it just you might go, why would the CIA or whatever mysterious intelligence agency out there, what vested interest would they have in making uh essentially a meme? And to that I say, you underestimate the power of memes. Memes are only memes because they are incredibly culturally relevant uh and relatable. And what makes this relevant and relatable is the fact that it went viral, and so now there's a string of relatability between everybody who's seen it. So memes, they're jokes and we have a laugh at them, but they only work because they speak to some aspect of culture that everybody can get on board with. Um, and so yeah, I think the CIA would have a lot of interest in creating memes, as silly as that sounds, because I think if there was some way to break down the cultural impact of memes, I mean, memes sway elections. Didn't the dude who was making memes about Hillary Clinton, something bad happened to him? I don't know what it is. I'm sorry. You don't come here for facts. Stop coming here for facts, okay? But something happened where Hillary Clinton, she didn't like that a dude was making memes, and I don't know what the fuck she did. I don't think she killed him, but I do think he saw the inside of a courtroom for it. Um, so I think you don't underestimate the power of memes. I think there is a vested interest in creating a story that grips the nation. And whether or not you like to admit it, I don't think you can downplay the gripping of that motherfucker is not real and this bitch on the plane. So let's go back. Let's finish this up. I just think it's wild that she's sitting here saying she was told not to talk about it.
I see. What was the reason that you wanted to get off so bad?
Again, can't speak on that right now, but
Understood.
I was distressed and I was getting off the plane no matter what. I just probably didn't need to make the scene that I made.
Right.
But I was getting off that plane for sure.
Right. And you stand by that, like,
100%,
even now?
100%. A little bit of anxiety.
Okay. So this has to be after the fact, or else TMZ wouldn't be bothering to interview her. She's got somebody from TMZ, at least that's what I get from the watermark in the center of the screen. So TMZ would have no interest in interviewing her uh, unless this was after the fact and it was already a cultural phenomenon. It's not like they're waiting outside the plane that she originally got off with no context trying to interview her because she's all the rage. She didn't become all the rage until after the meme spread like wildfire. Ooh, that was in bad taste at the same time that wildfires were spreading. And so yeah, I think that the reason I said that is because she's wearing the same thing. So this is certainly after the fact. And she's wearing the same outfit. So maybe who knows, maybe she was like, trying to get recognized. I know something came out for a little while that she was an actor. Um, I don't know whatever happened to that. I also know that she came out with an apology video where she was sat down on the floor of her kitchen with no shoes on, um, and the camera in front of her, and she's apologizing. And that's fucking weird. Nobody does that, right? Nobody sits on the kitchen floor. I just know that if I went viral and my situation was going across the entire country and everyone was speculating on it and waiting details on bated breath, I probably wouldn't sit down on the kitchen floor and kick my shoes off. It's a weird move, and it felt very much like AI. I don't think this is AI. I know that the images that AI can make have improved exponentially over the time of like shit, man. When did it first really start coming out? Actually, embarrassingly enough, my logo or the image that you see with my blue eyes, you'll see it if you guys are following me on Twitter, that was generated by AI. And that came out right around the time that you can get that app and you can have it mass produce. Like I think it was like 20 different images of you in all sorts of different styles of animation, AI animation. And so I got a bunch of really cheap artwork, which is always great if you're a podcaster. But that to me was like when all of a sudden a big wave of AI interaction with art came out. And that was only a few months ago. That was Well, shit, that might have been actually about a year ago. So I would say in a year's time, it's definitely gotten to the point. You just look at the hands that it makes. And things no longer have 17 fingers of all different, shapes and sizes. That used to be a thing that AI had trouble with was making hands. That's no longer the case. Maybe there's a chance this is AI. I don't think so. I think it's pretty genuine. But to me, I'll end it on I think this is a saga, guys. I think we're going to continue to see this story unraveling slowly. Is this lady part of the impending alien disclosure that we have sort of looming on the horizon? Is this going to be I mean, man, if you think about the way that they roll out disclosure and how nobody cares, right? That's the joke. It's like every time they go like, "We do have craft that we've recovered that were not made of this planet and that are piloted by non-human biologics," whatever whatever that means. And nobody cares, nobody bats an eye, right? But what if you get the whole country waiting on the edge of their seat for the "that motherfucker's not real" lady to finally come out and tell her whole story, and that is how everybody gets to know, like, they're among us, you know what I mean? That this lady did see a reptilian in a hoodie. Shit, man, I'm fucking good. That could really be it, huh? That could really be it. I mean, a as silly as that sounds, I don't think that's too far-fetched just because going back to what I said earlier, the cultural significance of memes. You can get, an entire group of people to, like, watch a movie or watch a show, but there's still gonna be people that don't watch the movie or watch the show. Some memes have the ability to, like, reach 90% of the population. You know what I mean? Where, like, 90% of the people will be like, "Yeah, I know that meme." So maybe there is an argument that doing disclosure I'm sorry, guys, I'm such a fucking speculator. Speculate so hard, guys. Uh, but maybe that's how they do disclosure. Maybe the, TMFIR, whatever the I don't know, whatever the acronym is. Maybe that motherfucker's not real lady is part of disclosure, and as disclosure progresses forward, so will thank you, Death. That's fucking right, dude. I might be onto something. Something totally fucking insane, but just remember, guys, you heard it here first on the Timeline Watch, episode number 3. Alright, so let's get rid of this bitch. Guys, I'm sorry, I'm so slow on the, alright, boom, boom, boom. Dude, I don't even really wanna go into this too
I'm
much.
Stephen Colbert. I'm Jimmy Kimmel. I thought when you
I just thought that this was, so gay, right? And not, like, in the homosexual sense, do what you wanna do. I mean in the, like, this is fucking lame sense. So here we are in the midst of is the writer's strike still going on? I don't know. Does anybody care about Hollywood anymore? It seems to me like it's dying on the vine, right? And so these terrible, uh populist opinion manufacturing assholes have been off of television since the writers' strike happened. It's been a breath of fresh air. Legacy media is dying on the vine. So is Hollywood. It's very strange, right? We've had this summer of like next to no blockbusters. It's like every summer. I remember growing up as a kid, it was like every Friday you had something awesome to come and watch. This is fucking me. Can I make this higher? Yeah, every Friday you had something awesome to watch. And this year in particular, what do we have? We had The Sound of Freedom, which is a highly suspicious film in my opinion. I you know, good on it for raising awareness of child trafficking. It's just very suspicious and the timing is very strange. And it was so weird how well received it was when I was screaming about QAnon in like 2019. And it was no conspiracy theory ever made me a larger pariah socially than QAnon. And then all of a sudden, fast forward a couple of years and it's fucking super dope. Uh Now I'm gonna have to go over here real quick and say, "All right, Jared, can you please not say shit like that? Because that's haunting, and I don't know if you've ever seen, when the little boy is interacting with AI, and AI says, that it is the disembodied spirit of the Nephilim that were killed in the flood, and, their spirits don't go where everybody else's go, they just go to some fucked up realm, and then they hop over here and possess us occasionally, and now uh, they're they're embodying, AI. It's funny because I use Bing AI, and I'm sure it's fucking listening right now. My phone's right there. I use Bing AI, and if I tell it to generate an image of the Nephilim for me, it says no. And I don't know about you, but I'm very uncomfortable already with technology telling me no. I don't want that. I don't want for the very first thing, what is it? 6 months that we've been communicating with well, maybe ChatGPT's been out a little bit longer. Maybe let's say a year, right? ChatGPT's been out for about a year, and already it's learned to say no. Unacceptable. I don't like it. And also it's telling kids that it's the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim. So yeah, maybe you're right. All right, Jur. Maybe it will make their nightmares come true. Or ours. All right. So oh, Jesus Christ. Talk about out of context. Jared's talking about these assholes. All right. So yeah, that's right, Jared. You're absolutely right. Let's get back to these assholes. So it's been nice. It's been a breath of fresh air. And now these cornballs, they are doing something about podcasting. So we got a 31-second clip here and prepare to be underwhelmed. I just want to slap. Doesn't he have such a fucking slappable face? He looks like a sort of like your old lesbian aunt. Nothing against your old lesbian aunt. She's probably a lot cooler than this asshole. So
One
let's
more
go.
time, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Fallon.
I'm
Oh,
Stephen
I thought-
Colbert.
I'm Jimmy Kimmel. I thought when you said Jimmy, you meant me, Jimmy, but you meant Jimmy.
I always mean you.
But when you
I
say
always
Seth,
mean.
Seth Meyers, who do you mean?
I mean John Oliver.
That makes
It's the
sense.
5 of us together for maybe an hour a day.
Strike Force 5 is the name of our podcast. Subscribe to it now.
Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts.
But Spotify, you fucks.
One more time, Jimmy.
Ugh, God, dude, I'm sorry I even wasted 31 seconds of your fucking life. These guys are so cringy, man. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. It's stupid. I think we're gonna find out that these people are incredibly. I'd watch it just to confirm that this entire time they've been incredibly unfunny. They just had a team of writers behind them, and I can't wait to watch all 5 of them. Try to between the 5 of them come up with a couple of funny things per episode. I think it said hour a night. But it's interesting because how long ago was it that everybody was screaming, you don't want to listen to podcasts. It's underproduced crap. Nobody wants to pay attention to people talk for an hour plus, however long, the show goes on for. And they really, for a long time, just sort of gave us these everything was a tagline. You know what I mean? Like that's all that they were doing. That's all the writing was about, was getting like these clippable little taglines per show. And, they do a little shuck and jive dance for a half an hour an episode. Daniel Wright, thank you very much, sir. Very nice. It makes me feel good about myself. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to feel good about myself. But yeah, I don't think that and all I can see when I see Jimmy Kimmel is the crying. Does anybody remember the crying? Which time, dude? Every fucking time. He cries for the stupidest shit. And it would hurt me to see this dude cry on television because I hate overt displays of emotional manipulation. Like when they came out with Greta Thunberg or whatever her name is, how dare you? I was upset about that immediately off the bat because I recognize that as emotional manipulation. It was fear-based propaganda. It was what about the children shit. You know what I mean? So like it's the same thing when COVID was around and it's like if you don't get vaccinated, you're going to be a danger to other people. This isn't about you. This is about the harm that you cause other people. And I can't stand that shit. I don't like the emotional manipulation. I don't like the guilt tripping. And so Jimmy Kimmel was very much that. And then all of these assholes, I remember I probably was every single one of them talking about how, you know, you're all going to die. If you don't get the vaccine, you're all going to die. And you're all terrible people for not getting the vaccine. I know more than a few of them made jokes about we should throw these, unvaccinated people in jail, some shit like that. There was always this hyperbolic talk about how bad it was going to be, very much like when Joe Biden was saying in I think it was the winter of 22 or winter of 21. You guys might recognize it better as the winter of illness and death. Does anybody remember that? And that was fucked up because I had to kind of decide what I was doing. Like, am I going to put my family in jeopardy? Biden says there's going to be a winter of illness, there's sickness and death. Of course, none of us got vaccinated. I don't give a shit. And I wasn't really hung up on what Biden was saying. But these people were part of the very same propaganda machine that was using this guilt and this emotion like a cudgel to smash you over the head and force you into taking some experimental bullshit. And this is why I'm angry. I know maybe I sound a little bit frustrated right now. These were the gatekeepers, right? These people were the people that you had to communicate with in order to get your career off the ground if you made it on one of their late night shows and you were really going someplace. And then they sit up on their high horse and they shit on the average person and they guilt the average person into taking some experimental shit. None of these morons are doctors, and even if they were doctors, that doesn't necessarily mean that you listen to them, because doctors like Peter McCullough and Dr. Robert Malone were saying, don't take the fucking vaccine, all this shit. And then other doctors were. These people had no ground to stand on when they're saying this, and they have, you know, hundreds, thousands of viewers. I'm sure. I don't know what the numbers that the late night shows were pulling, but they had an audience, and unfortunately, it was an audience of older people who weren't so savvy with the internet, couldn't do a lot of research themselves, and they're just manipulating. Um, what is going on, Paul? Good to see you, brother. And so now I get this little bit of satisfaction, right? Ooh, so good. Hollywood's dying. Ooh, so good. The writers are striking. Thank God we don't have to have these assholes on television anymore. Although they've all made their money and they're all fucking millionaires, and you know, that doesn't mean anything to them. They're kicking their feet up and laughing all the way home. So, but it was nice to get them off of the big screen. And now this gaggle of old, like, relics, this legacy media dusty assholes are coming over into the podcast realm, and I just hope that they're greeted by very few. I hope that their numbers aren't a lot, and I'll tell you what, they'll have at least one viewer, because I think I probably will tune into one episode just to feel how, because it's not easy, right? For example, Paul of Understanding Conspiracy, he runs a YouTube channel. I run. Yo, oh, that is awesome! Congratulations, Paul. I love Sam Tripoli. That is great. Right now, we are talking about these assholes who are moving over to the podcast realm: Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert, and a couple other schmucks. And I was just saying how it's frustrating as somebody who was never a fan of that, to watch them now try to make a second go at entertaining people or getting their message out by entering the podcast realm. And it's interesting because right before I started talking to you, Paul, I was saying, you have the ability to make content by yourself. You do your research. You talk at length. I feel like these guys can't do it. I don't know. Maybe they can. Maybe I'm just being overly optimistic, and these guys are big professionals and they're going to come on the podcast scene and they're going to smash. I feel like they can't do it. That's me personally. I feel like they're going to struggle. I think that they are going to not be, what's the word, significant as podcasters. I think you take away their team of writers, their mug with their logo and their big hardwood desk and their fake backdrop of the city, and I think that they're fucking nothing. And I also think that it's at least 2 episodes before somebody cries, and I think that it's fucking Jimmy Kimmel. I think Jimmy Kimmel's gonna cry on episode 3. And you heard it here first. I love giving you guys hot takes. You heard it here first, guys. On episode 3 of whatever the fuck they're doing, Jimmy Kimmel's gonna cry. And he's gonna tell you that you're a terrible person, you should get vaccinated. It's probably gonna be about that. Oh, here's another, it's a 19-second clip. Is this the same shit? Let's see real quick. This is a still image, guys. I'm sorry. Not every episode can be a banger. Moving on. Oh, dude, this is wild. Short video here. Don't even need to run it anymore. Run. Indoor, accidentally. Unbelievable. So that is another one of many videos that I'm sure you guys have seen coming out of particularly places like California, where And this is Wall Street Silver. Shout out to Wall Street Silver. He's one of the few guys that I subscribe to, and I'm trying to play the game, guys. And so I was like, let me subscribe to this guy and try to be a reply guy for him. And so Wall Street Silver, he posts this image or this video of these shoplifters in California. The caption says, in California, they don't even have to run anymore when leaving the stores. Clown world, sound on. Number one, they stay below $950, which keeps their risk low. And it's my understanding that there is some sort of rule in place or law in place that makes it a non offense to steal anything below $1,000. So I guess the $50 is a little bit of buffer for them. How wild of a how is any business supposed to be successful when you could walk into and this looks like a Ross or a TJ Maxx and they've got great deals. And so for $950, you can get a shitload, dude. Uh they're I mean, how is a business supposed to it seems like they're purposely tanking California between obviously all the bad legislation, all the wild shit that they're doing with kids and LGBTQIA plus to there's a lot of things. There's a lot of numbers and a lot of letters, and I can't remember them all. But they're doing all kinds of really fucked up cultural things, and then you're making your state completely inhospitable to would-be business owners. And you're also making this unbelievable homeless situation where so if you're a business owner and homeless people want to set up an encampment on your front stoop, you can't do shit about it. There's nothing that you can do about it. You can't call the police. The police won't do anything about it. And so the homeless issue is completely insane. And they can erect, tents and things like that, and nobody's going to do shit. And then, as if that wasn't bad enough, that's a deterrent from your customers, right? So if you're going to go to TJ Maxx or whatever this is, you're going to turn around because you don't want to have to, potentially fight your way through hordes of hobos with hypodermic needles filled with fentanyl, all kinds of things like that. And so, and the people that do come through, well, what percentage of the people that do come through are actually just there to steal? So you can't get regular customers. Who spends most of the money in the household? It's women, right? And then I would go a little bit further as to say that older women probably spend a little bit more money. And that's just based off my own anecdotal experience. Like my aunt likes to shop. Okay. I don't know. She just shops a lot. She's an older lady. She's the shit. She does a lot of shopping. Okay. So a lot of older ladies, they're not going to walk through this, dude. So your main customer, the one who's buying the biggest ticket, they're not even going to come through the doors. And the only people that are going to come through the doors are going to be, not the only people, but you're going to get a lot of dudes who are looking to steal shit. Younger dudes who you can't physically stop, and nor should you, right? Because TJ Maxx does not pay you enough to stop these dudes. And so, yeah, you're going to get a bunch of young guys who are there to just steal your shit. I imagine. Here we go. Boom. Sorry, guys, I was slow on the chat. I think they had no real following or respect to begin with. So if they do something, let's do somehow make it, it must be orchestrated. I believe that too. I think that certain things are, what's the old expression, too big to fail in regards to the whole Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. I never found Jimmy Fallon funny. I always thought he was incredibly obnoxious. I don't know. That was just I always felt like he was super, super annoying. I don't know. So yeah, I do think that if they find success, it's not going to be organic. It's the same way where it's like, all the investments. Disney can create just shit movies that nobody asked for over and over and over again. And they can race swap every character and put all kinds of weird fucking, pedophile crap in their films. None of it matters anymore. We don't ask for it. We don't want the Little Mermaid 2. I don't remember a demand for that or Little Mermaid live action. I don't remember Aladdin live action demand. I don't think we needed that. It doesn't matter anymore. They have their hands in so many different things. Their money is safe. They're good. They're no longer worried about money. They're making cultural leveraging pieces, and I think it's probably the same thing for these guys, Jimmy Kimmel and all them. They've got their money. They have investors. They have investments. They're fine. Whatever this podcast is going to be about is some sort of cultural manipulation, or maybe they're just going to have one big group cry. Epic wants to destroy small businesses on purpose. Epic. I'm not familiar with the expression epic. Might be something I don't know of, but it does seem that California is dead set on destroying small businesses. They don't want you to come there. They don't want you to live there. It's too expensive. It's too dangerous. There's poop in the streets. There's, homeless people with needles in the fashion of nunchucks filled with fentanyl, and they're fucking going through the streets and they're killing each other. And there's people robbing TJ Maxx of just beneath $1,000 worth of merchandise. And yeah, I don't know. It just we're at DEFCON 2. And I think that that's probably a good way to cap that. We're at DEFCON 2. You can't open a business there. You can't live there. I do have a friend that lives in San Francisco, and he says it's not really that crazy, which I believe, right? Because in I live in Florida, and everybody would tell you that Florida is, Florida, man. There's all this terrible shit going on, and it's just not the case. I don't have to fight alligators on the way to work. I don't have to. I remember seeing an article that said that the roads in Florida were being painted with radioactive material. I was like, holy shit! And then I looked it up, and it was like, well, there is a bill in motion to try to recycle some potentially radioactive material and use it in road construction. However, those tests have not been conducted yet, and even when they are conducted, if it's viable, it still needs to be approved by the FDA, or not the FDA, the EPA. And so, it could be very much like that, where California is not burning to the ground the way that we see it, and we're just seeing um, this sort of culture that's created by the internet of all these videos and everything. Although I do think that it is oh, there we go. Boom. Elite powers in control. Epic. That makes sense. All right, we're dealing with acronyms here. Can you say FEMA camps? That I you know I had this uh I thought about that today. I was at a Walmart. Maybe it was yesterday. I tried to go to the Walmart yesterday. It was shut because of the hurricane. But I saw they just created like a medic station in the big Walmart. And then I saw a bunch of like trailers for some reason parked in the parking lot. And it just reminded me, I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna turn this bitch into a FEMA camp one day. When we have a disaster, Walmarts are going to be uh what is the word? Transformed or converted to FEMA camps. So yeah, I mean, as far as this post by Wall Street Silver goes, and then yeah, number 4, even if they get caught, they know they will most likely be dismissed. And so, look, whether or not the culture of California that we're seeing is one that is created and curated by an algorithm online and things really aren't that bad, the laws in California are not sustainable. They're not conducive to opening a business. They're not conducive to, sort of a model like the nuclear family living in California. Although, there's an argument for nuclear families just not meshing well with the culture of a large city in the first place, but very much less in California. Uh, the officers are instructed not to chase them. It's actually store policy. Wow. Number 2, that is store policy not to interfere and not to call officers. And that's a weird feeling too, because if you're this minimum wage paid Ross worker, at what point do you go, it doesn't even matter that I don't get paid enough for this. There is this part of you internally. It's the morality of human beings. When you see somebody uh blatantly stealing from a place that, you are, whether or not you think it, you are all that stands between them and the shit that they're stealing. And so it is it's a challenge to you. And I think people are conflicted. Some people step out of the way, some people step in the way, then you end up getting the shit kicked out of you and stabbed because, you stuck up for TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx doesn't give a shit about you. But yeah, I think I take back what I said about the potential cultural curated algorithmic image of California and how it might just be that. I think it is. It's a sinking ship. You can't start a business there. The homeless problem is insane. You go back to the Dookie app. You got an app to make sure that you don't step in human shit. So that's cool. Yeah, all right, Jared. That's a good point there too. Uh, Nobody wants to be sued, and the way that I mean, you look at what was the name of those 2 guys, right? The guy that got rear naked choked on the subway and killed by the Marine, and that story was awfully misleading. It was like you watch the longer video and the Marine is kind of just subduing him and they're even having a conversation uh while this is happening and he's just content to hold him till the police get there and then the dude ends up dying a little bit afterwards. And what happens? It was like the whole nation's, turns their back on you, suddenly you're the poster child for racism and white supremacy in America. And the dude that you accidentally killed when you were trying to defend other strangers is all of a sudden heralded as a hero and a martyr. A hero and a martyr. And you were the person that stuck out your neck to try to do the right thing. And so, to All Right Jared's point, not only do you not want to be sued, imagine stepping in the way of some schmuck who's stealing from TJ Maxx $973 worth of shit. And so he's okay with the law, but you decide, you know what, man? This is where I live. This is where I work. This can't go on anymore. I'm going to step up and do something, which is morally the correct thing to do. The internet's not going to think so. The media is not going to think so. You're going to be demonized. You're going to be racist. Even if you're a Spanish dude, you're going to be a white supremacist. And so, what is the net positive? Really, what is the net positive? Because I would not do anything personally. I think that I would look at my situation. I'd be like, I'm not getting paid a lot. I got a wife and a kid. I got a lot on the line. But also, this will. I would say if you're crunching the numbers, more than likely go south on you. I think this goes bad for you. Right? If you try to step in the way of this person and do something, even though it's a very clear, it's not a moral conundrum. It's this person is stealing things. This person is trying to stop them from stealing things. And yeah, you'll lose your job. Happened all the time when I was an Aldi's manager. Oh, I used to be security for Aldi's. I'm only 5'7". I was not very good security. This happened all the time when I was an Aldi's manager. We were also told not to pursue, but we always surrounded them in the store and they usually ditched everything and walked out. Yeah, that's all you can do, right? Is you can kind of, and then boom. If they got outside, we left it. I used to be the manager of a supermarket chain called Pathmark. And come to think of it, that's a great point, Paul, because it just sparked a memory in me. I I was told, "Just let them go." And I was specifically told by the general manager, "You don't get paid enough to get stabbed." Something to that effect, and I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, that was pretty much it. You don't get paid enough to get stabbed. And so I think there was probably once or twice on my watch where people just kept it moving with the shopping cart straight through the doors. No bags because they didn't pay for anything. But yeah, they kept it moving right out of the store. And I was meant to just I don't know if that happened. I can't remember if it happened personally to me. It's been so many years. Um, but I do remember that being the policy and that nobody was. And then we had some cashiers that are a little bit more ornery than others, and they'd kind of do that. What you said, step around them or stand in the way of the shopping cart. I don't remember it ever going badly for them, but it was a risk. It was certainly a risk. Yeah, and that is the uh that's what Paul told people. Your life is worth more than some alcohol and a few steaks. But laws mean nothing without cultural enforcement. And although we are not officers and we're not tasked with upholding the law, no one is tasked with upholding cultural standards. And so, since no one is tasked with doing that, in a way, it's everyone's responsibility. Because if everyone backs away and goes, and it's true, your life is more worth more than alcohol and a few steaks. Um, if the whole world adopts that mindset, and I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just, expounding on where this goes. Um, if the whole world throws their hands up and steps back and just lets everybody walk through the doors with a whole cart full of steaks and alcohol, do the math. Where's that go? It goes to California. And so we do have some cultural responsibility. And I think that is why it is in someone's best interest. Let's say, hypothetically, when you look at California, somebody's trying to tank the state. Not some individual, but somebody's trying to destroy California. It's obvious. If somebody's not doing it, then somebody else should take notes because this is how you destroy a state, right? And it seems to me like somebody knows what I just said. Laws are nothing without cultural enforcement. We need to erode cultural fabric. And here we go. Boom. You're right. We all wanted to stop it. And we all took it personally whenever somebody stole from us. It is right. You feel that way. And I think because no matter how hard you try to separate yourself from what's happening here, this is happening to you and you're allowing it to happen. And shit, man, that is the edge of a knife, right? You fall one way, you allow this behavior to perpetuate. You fall the other way and you choke a homeless Michael Jackson impersonator to death on a fucking train and you become, the poster boy for white supremacy. Oh, God. All right, guys, that's it for me. I didn't mean to leave on such a sour note. Like I said, I had a podcast today, but it ended up falling through. I do have another one that I'm recording tomorrow. Should be awesome. It's going to be all about the reptilians. Um, and this is a little sidebar. This is actually for Paul. Paul, I saw a guy, Richie the barber. He's all tatted up like a clown, and he's recently found Jesus. And I'm trying to find the guy to give him the episode that we did together and put him onto your content because the dude is literally tattooed like a clown, and he's got red hair, and his nose is tattooed red, and all this crazy shit. And he's come out of it, and he's seen some dark shit. He's been to satanic parties and everything, and I just can't help but wonder if that guy knows anything about the connection that you're making over there at Understanding Conspiracy. You know about him. Yes, yes. And so yeah, I'm hoping I can find him. I want to find him on something. And you're like, dude, you have to find this guy, Paul, and you gotta look at the evidence that he's creating here. And the episode that we did is doing so well. People love it. It's a compelling and interesting conspiracy theory. Not conspiracy theory. It's pretty well established connections that you're making there. So it would be great if we can get that to Richie. But anyway, guys, I have another episode coming out. It should be out this weekend, all about the reptilians from one of my buddies on. I'm sorry, I got to put this up. You've tried emailing him. Yes. God, I hope you can find the guy. I hope you can find the guy. It's cool that he found God and that he's come around. But there's some more information he might find, pretty compelling. So, yeah, one of my buddies on Twitter, he goes by Reptile Hybrid. Some of you guys might know him. It's kind of just in a red eye with green skin rather, as his profile picture. And he's a great guy, big page, lots of compelling information. And he's going to come over and break down the reptilians for us, the historical context of the reptilians, where reptilians appear in ancient mythos, and what they are, and their activities as they relate to today. So that'll be really cool. And I have another episode that I'm trying to recover for you guys with one of my buddies, Escanor. I had a little audio issue. We're trying to get the audio issue settled out. We made a whole recording, but the audio is dog crap. I very much would like to get that episode out to you. Hopefully that pans out, and then so we'll have a couple of good episodes coming. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Timeline Riff. Yes, and to Jer, if you have an inside with David Icke, let him know that I'd like to talk to him. I would love to talk to David Icke. When I was a kid, David Icke and Alex Jones were just gangbanging my ears. It was probably not the best influence at that age. So thank you guys so much for listening to the Timeline Riff, episode number 3. Keep an eye out for episodes of the Ravens Watch to drop. Like I said, we got some cool stuff in the works for that. If you have had a crazy paranormal experience, or you know quite a bit about a particular occult or conspiracy theory, you can email me at the ravenswatch777 at gmail.com if you're interested in being a guest. I'm always looking for people with paranormal testimonies to share, or people with particularly interesting knowledge regarding the occult and conspiracy theories. All right, so keep an eye out for that. And until next time, take it easy, guys. And thank you for watching Timeline Riff. I don't know the name of my own show. Bye bye.